J.P. Morgan to pay damn near $300 million to the survivors of Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein. Put it up full mass. This is a hell of a story on top of a hell of a story. J.P. Morgan Chase has agreed to pay the survivors of the deceased child predator financier Jeffrey Epstein $290 million. This settlement is the result of a lawsuit which claimed the nation's largest bank benefited from his international sex trafficking operation. They're now calling their longtime association with Epstein a mistake. The settlement was prompted by claims filed by an unnamed woman identified only as Jane Doe, that J.P. Morgan Chase not only knew of Epstein's sex trafficking operation, but continued a relationship with him for 15 years. And keep in mind, everyone knew Epstein, at a point, everyone knew what Epstein was up to. Doe, who alleges that she was raped and trafficked by Epstein, sued the bank on behalf of a large number of fellow survivors. The suit was filed in November 2022 and claimed the number of survivors could rise over 100 women who alleged Epstein abused them over the period in which he remained a client of J.P. Morgan's. The bank dropped him in 2013. Let me just remind you, he has rubbed shoulders with Donald Trump and many, many others, including Clinton and a lot of dignitaries, even overseas, right? He magically died on suicide watch in federal prison. Magically. Statement from the bank. The parties have reached an agreement in principle to settle the putative class action lawsuit related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, which is subject to court approval. The bank said in a statement, the parties believe this settlement is in the best interest of all parties, especially the survivors who were the victims of Epstein's terrible abuse. A spokesperson for J.P. Morgan did not immediately respond to Jezebel's request for comment. Let me remind you that if what they're saying is true in the settlement documents, that means that members of Chase Bank executive leadership, they engaged in a criminal conspiracy to traffic human bodies for the purposes of sex across state and country lines. That is a violation of every sentiment of federal law and international decorum. None of them are going to jail. The bank continues. We all now understand that Epstein's behavior was monstrous, and we believe this settlement is in the best interest of all parties, especially the survivors who suffered unimaginable abuse at the hands of this man. The bank said in this statement, any association with him was a mistake, and we regret it. We would never have continued to do business with him. We believed he was using our bank in any way to help commit heinous crimes. Now, I want to remind you, the filing from the victims say otherwise. They say clearly, Chase Bank was aware. That's the reason they sued Chase Bank, because Chase Bank had liability for the criminal operation, okay? So while they say they had no idea and they would not have continued, they're giving up the money. The victims say they were well aware. However, last month, the New York Times reported that an exhibit in a court filing suggested more than one bank employee filed a suspicious activity report about a number of Epstein's transactions. Other documents reveal prominent executives at the bank maintained a relationship with Epstein after his 2008 guilty plea in Florida to soliciting prostitution from an underage girl. Chief among them was Jess Staley, who became the damn CEO in 2009 and left in 2013. So Chase is lying, clearly, because they did not end the relationship until later. Sharon, thoughts here?
The King's brother's dippy statement was better than what the bank tried to peddle right there. It's proof $290 million means even more than we thought. You're nasty.
That's right.
You're nasty.
That's right. The money speaks for itself. All right.